Why do we buy things we don't actually need? Why do we convince ourselves that we deserve it or that it is on sale, so it is a smart buy? That's the power and danger of impulse spending. Every day, millions of people fall into the same trap. You open your phone, scroll through Instagram or TikTok, and boom, a perfectly targeted ad pops up. It's not a coincidence. It's psychology. Impulse spending isn't about lack of intelligence. It is about how your brain reacts to emotions, dopamine, and instant gratification. And understanding this psychology is the first step to regaining control over your money. Let's start with what really happens in your brain when you make an impulse purchase. When you see something exciting like a new phone, pair of sneakers, or a trending gadget, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical. That dopamine rush gives you a small hit of pleasure, even before you buy the item. In other words, your brain rewards you for the anticipation of getting something new. That's why online shopping feels addictive. You're not buying the product, you're buying the emotion. You are chasing that quick burst of happiness. But here's the problem. That happiness doesn't last long. Once the excitement fades, you are often left with regret, guilt, and a smaller bank balance. Marketers know this, and they exploit it brilliantly. They use psychological tricks to make you spend without thinking. For example, flash sales with countdown timers trigger urgency. Limited stock messages like "only 2 left" activate scarcity. And bright buy now buttons tap into your impulse to act fast. Ever notice how your favorite stores send exclusive offers to your email? Or how shopping apps keep your cards saved for one-click purchases? That's not convenience, that's strategy. The easier they make it to buy, the less time you have to think. But there's another, deeper reason behind impulse spending: emotional spending. We don't just buy things because we need them. We buy them because of how they make us feel. When you are sad, stressed, or bored, your brain craves comfort. And shopping can feel like self-care. That's why you'll often hear phrases like retail therapy. It's not therapy, but it mimics the same emotional relief. Think about it. You had a tough day, you are scrolling through Amazon, and suddenly you tell yourself, "I deserve this." In that moment, you are not buying an object, you are buying emotional relief. But the irony is that relief is temporary, while the debt or spending habit can last much longer. Another key psychological force is social validation. We live in a world where everyone is showing off their lifestyle online. New cars, fancy vacations, designer clothes all over social media. Even if you don't realize it, your brain starts comparing. You start feeling left out, like you are behind. And that triggers something called FOMO, fear of missing out. FOMO makes you spend to keep up with others, not because you want something, but because you want to belong. And companies know this too. That's why influencer marketing is so powerful. When you see someone you admire using a product, your brain says, "If I buy that too, maybe I'll feel like them." But there's another layer, the illusion of control. When you buy something, especially spontaneously, it gives you a brief sense of power. You made a choice. You acted. You rewarded yourself. It feels good, especially when other parts of your life feel uncertain. But here's the trap. The more often you use spending to feel in control, the more control you actually lose over your finances. Impulse spending also ties deeply into habit loops. Charles Duhigg, in his book, The Power of Habit, explained that every habit has 3 parts. Cue, routine, reward. For example, cue, you feel bored or stressed. Routine, you open your favorite shopping app. Reward, you feel better for a moment. Your brain learns this pattern. Over time, it becomes automatic. You're no longer deciding to spend, you're reacting. And that's what makes it so dangerous. Now, here's the interesting part. You can rewire that habit, but not by pure willpower, because willpower fades. You need to replace the routine, not just resist it. So instead of shopping when you are stressed, find a new outlet. Go for a walk, journal, exercise, or call a friend. You're still getting that dopamine hit, but in a way that doesn't drain your wallet. Another powerful strategy is the 24-hour rule. Whenever you want to buy something that isn't essential, wait 24 hours before making the purchase. That time gap gives your logical brain, the prefrontal cortex, time to catch up with your emotional brain. 9 times out of 10, after a day, you will realize you do not actually need it. You can also make use of wish lists instead of checkout carts. When you feel tempted, add the item to a wish list instead of buying it immediately. Often, just saving it satisfies the craving temporarily without the guilt later. Another great hack is to remove friction in saving and add friction in spending. Here's what that means. Automate your savings so money moves out of your checking account as soon as you are paid. That way, what's left feels like your actual budget. On the flip side, make spending slightly harder. Delete your saved cards from shopping sites. Turn off one-click purchases. Even those few extra seconds give your brain a moment to think, do I really want this? You should also practice mindful spending. Before buying anything, ask yourself 3 questions. Do I really need this, or do I just want it right now? 2, will this purchase make me happy a week from now? 3, if I couldn't post this online, would I still buy it? These questions force you to confront your real motivations, and awareness alone can reduce impulsive decisions dramatically. Let's talk about the credit card trap. Credit cards make impulse spending dangerously easy. You're not actually feeling the loss of money, it's delayed pain. Swiping a card separates the pleasure of buying from the pain of paying. And that's why you spend more. Studies show people spend up to 30% more when using credit cards instead of cash. So if you are struggling with impulse spending, try switching to cash or debit for a while. When you physically hand over money, you feel the transaction, and that awareness helps you think twice. There's also something called the anchoring effect. It's when a price seems reasonable because of a higher comparison. For example, if you see a jacket for $400 and then another for $150, the second one feels cheap, even though $150 is still a lot. Retailers use this trick constantly to make you feel like you're getting a deal. Being aware of this illusion helps you break free from marketing manipulation. So, how do you fight back against impulse spending in 2025? Here's a simple plan. 1. Track every expense. Awareness kills impulse. 2. Unsubscribe from marketing emails and notifications. Out of sight, out of mind. 3. Set savings goals. Give your money a purpose so it doesn't wander away. 4. Use separate accounts. One for bills, one for fun spending, one for savings. 5. Wait before you buy. Delay gratification. 6. Reward yourself intentionally. Plan your splurges. Don't let them control you. And remember this, impulse spending isn't about the purchase itself. It's about emotion. So instead of fighting your emotions, learn to understand them. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now that's making me want to buy this? Am I anxious, bored, trying to impress someone? Once you identify the emotion, you can address it directly instead of numbing it with spending. At its core, impulse spending is a reflection of our relationship with control, happiness, and self-worth. The more confident and secure you feel internally, the less you will need external things to make you feel good. Building emotional intelligence is the real secret to mastering your finances. Because money management isn't just math, it's mindset. And when you control your mind, your wallet follows. So the next time you feel the urge to click buy now, pause. Take a deep breath. Remember that every impulsive decision trades your long-term peace for short-term pleasure. And your future self deserves better than that. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who struggles with impulse spending. Together, we can turn emotional spending into emotional strength and finally take control of our financial future.